Hey, welcome to Manotick StringWorks. Glad to have you here. Please like and subscribe so I can keep making these videos. Alright, a friend of mine dropped off this guitar the other day. It's in a nice Gibson case. Let's see what's inside. Well, it's not a Gibson, but maybe the next best thing. 2009 Epiphone Les Paul Prophecy GX. Really nice looking guitar. He's had it for a while. I think he bought it secondhand, if I'm not mistaken. So this guitar has white binding all around the body, fretboard, headstock, and it glows under ultraviolet light. So on a stage it would be pretty cool. So do all the inlays. Very spooky. Alright, let's have a look at this thing. Very nice. Not your average Epiphone. So they came out with this model beginning in 2008. Obviously a higher end version of the standard Epiphones. Cool headstock, inlay, gold hardware, Les Paul Custom Prophecy on the truss rod cover. Quilted maple top, bejeweled tone and volume knob, knurled as well, tunematic bridge setup, Gibson Dirty Fingers humbuckers, so those are actual Gibson Dirty Fingers humbuckers, super high output, ebony fretboard with those great inlays. Very nice, really cool. So my friend was complaining about static, crackling, output issues. Not sure if he was getting all the volume out of his pickups. Let's have a look. So it has a push-pull pot on the volume knob. So that splits the coils for the humbuckers, depending on which one you've selected or combination you selected. It's definitely a little scratchy. You can hear that in the switch. And the switch is very loose. I'll just check to see that everything's working right, wired right. So the neck pickup works. Now there's the split on the coil. Nothing on the bridge. And both pickups still on the split there. So now we've got both pickups working. Again with the split. One of those. Yeah, so the wiring seems to be fine. So you definitely have a few combinations there. A little bit of static, buzz. And the output jack has got some crackling, so we'll have to look at that too. So broke out the multimeter. Now we're going to put the ground on the shaft of the output jack, and then the hot lead will go at the tip. Got the meter set up for ohms, and you can see already. So there's the neck pickup 15. That's high output. Then we're going to go to both of the pickups, so it's in half, so that's right. And then the bridge is over 15 as well, so that's high. So let's check out what happens when we split these things. So it should go down by half. Yep. So the neck went down by half. That's great. Now we'll put both. Now look at that. So that's where maybe my buddy is not sure what's going on. So there's the split again at the bridge. Back up to 15. So when you have both pickups selected and coil tapped, it's going to drop the output by half again, right? So 15 in normal position, coil tap 7.5, and there you go. When both of them are there, it's half again. So that's probably what it is. Just check the string height with my homemade gauges. So that's 5/64 at the 12th fret. So you can hear it clanking against the string a little bit, so I'll keep checking. I mean, these guitars, you know, they should be set up pretty low. 5 would be on the high end, 4 would be preferable. Some people will drop it down to 3, but again, you know, if you feel like you're going to get some buzz and string noise, well, keep it in a range that you're going to avoid all that. So why I like to use these gauges that I made, so I don't have to break out the little measuring ruler, right, and tip it on its side and use a magnifying glass. So I can feel right away if it's touching. You can see, right, the string's moving around, so that means it's lower than 5/64. So we'll get the 4/64 out and do the same thing, and we should see, yeah, so like the low E, the A is fine, the D, you know, just, you can see, there we go. Now it's starting to be a little better. So, you know, it's set up anywhere between 4 and 5/64 this guitar, so we'll have a look at that near the end. So we'll check the neck relief. Again, on a fast playing guitar, you know, this could be 10 thousandths at the 7th fret. I mean, 12 is pretty normal, acceptable. You want to get that action down. I mean, the neck relief doesn't really let you get the action down super low, but it helps, obviously, in preventing string buzz. So you might be able to just hear that just lightly touching the 10. So that's a low setup, so that's good where it is right there. And there's no buzzing on the frets. I checked them, and my friend was telling me that everything's fine. So again, the action at the 1st fret, the nut action, 22 thousandths is pretty standard, and of course you can go much lower. This guitar, you know, we're looking at 18 thousandths, maybe a little less even. It was just scraping that 18 thousandths on the E string, and I could barely get it under the high E. So this is probably set up for more like 16, and you'll see here the D string, I can't even get it under the 18 thousandths, so that's really low. So they're not even. And that could be a couple of reasons. You know, there could be a few reasons. Someone's tried adjusting the, you know, cutting the nut slot deeper, or the strings have just worn through the nut slot, you know, over time. So the nut probably could use replacing. I would definitely recommend that. So I'll just take the covers off, and we'll get to cleaning up the electronics using some contact cleaner. I'll check and see if everything is still attached, soldered properly, you know, that kind of thing, while we have the covers open. Everything was working, like on the switches, so there you go, typical 3-way toggle switch there. When I was using it, it's seen better days, so definitely could be replaced. And only a push-pull switch and a tone pot on this guitar, right? So not many controls. Give those a spritz. A little hard to get in there. very tight, and the access to the pull pot was not easy. I got a bit of the cleaner everywhere there, made a bit of a mess, but this stuff evaporates really quick and it doesn't damage anything, so I'll still wipe it up. I ended up using a blower just to make sure everything was dry. So let's check and see if we've gotten rid of that crackling and the static. As you can see from the text, it did go away. Now that switch though is very loose, and even it's not very staticky, but it was making like switching noises. So I would definitely recommend replacing that. But the tone and volume knobs and pots there were fine. Yeah, look at that, it's super loose. Lots and lots of play there, so I'll give it one more spritz to make sure there's no gunk in there. But yeah, I would recommend replacing that. You can tell I like toggling that switch. So the output jack had a little bit of crackle. It was very tight though, like didn't feel loose at all. So that's probably nothing. It's nothing wrong with the wiring. It could be just the connection, if there's any corrosion or dirt in there. So let's have a look at it. So whenever I look at work on an output jack that's on the side of the guitar, or the guitar strap buttons, installing strap locks or repairing them, I like to use my guitar bench vise. You'll usually have it set up. I had it taken down because I was gluing up some boards on this table earlier this week. I got this vise at Lee Valley, and some of you might recognize it. It looks very much like the StewMac one, except this is about $150 less than the StewMac one. Now I did make that extension board based on a StewMac design, modified it a little bit of course, but I love this vise, it's awesome. Made this little support as well, so when the guitar is, I like to have the guitar resting flat, so that's why I have that support, which can be adjusted and slid around. And then a couple of cloths right there in between the jaws, just, you know, a little safety measure in case for some reason that neck slips out and you don't want to crash it onto that cast iron. So you'll see here how I set this up. I have an extra pad I put down on the extension, and I just put the guitar on its side and clamp the neck into the jaws. Those are nice polyurethane face jaws, so they're super soft. Now you have easy access, right, to everything. So I'm going to spray this with the contact cleaner and then give it a scrub with this homemade output jack scrubbing device. I use it to install output jacks and like hollow bodies as well. So just a little scrubbing on the side, but you know, I had a good look at it, and there's definitely corrosion all on the inside of that output jack. So I would definitely recommend replacing this jack as well, because it'll just corrode some more over time. So I cleaned it up, so hopefully for now it's going to make less noise or no noise. Yeah, and that's the case. So it's not making any noise from the jack anymore, which is good. But again, because it's corroded inside, probably a few months and then it'll need to be cleaned again or changed. So just check that action again. So 5/64 again is on the high side for this guitar. 12th and the 17th. So I think what I'll end up doing is lowering the bass side down to about 464, so it'll match the treble side. And because of the nut slot issues, these strings don't all rest, at the same, follow the same radius, right, like they should. And there could be some wear in the saddles as well. So I'll just lower the bass side string height, just a little bit by about a 64th or less. And then it'll get that more equal. Each string will be about the same height from the fretboard. Again, can't be perfect because of the nut issues. But it'll be better. Alright, well, let's button this thing up and call it a day. So thanks again for watching. I enjoy making these videos. I love repairing and working on these guitars. And maybe if my buddy wants to change the nut and the output jack and the switch, we'll have another little follow-up video on this cool Epiphone prophecy. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.